This week on episode 283 of the Cinema Psycho Show, we're continuing our 90s cyberpunk dystopian movie month with the 1992 VR thriller Lawnmower Man, starring Jeff Fahey and a pre-James Bond Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, and my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
Well, it's about time you were able to record, Brian.
Oh, we're going right into there. So do I gotta call you out on this?
I mean, I kind of did call myself out in a backwards way. Yeah,
you did. So we're on episode 283, and this week we're talking about Lawnmower Man. Now, Brian, you might be saying, well, why is John saying that it's taken this long to get episode 283 out? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because John has been jerking my chain for the past week.
This is like the fourth.
This is the
fourth time. Yeah,
fourth time. Fourth time's a charm, folks. That you've been able to record, and I don't know, John, if you want to go into the reasons why. Other than like you had a new job, right? Like that was mostly it.
Well, I thought I had one. Let me just put it that way.
If you had one.
If any of you out there in the media sphere get an email from clutch.co.
Oh, you're calling them out. Holy fuck.
Oh, well, no, here's the thing.
Do I got to bleep this?
They are
Is
a
it
real
story
company.
time?
They are a real company, but the people that emailed me were just using their name.
Oh, shit.
So if I was like, hi, I'm Gary from Best Buy, it doesn't mean Best Buy isn't real. It just means, because I even Googled them. I Googled the company. I Googled the people I was supposed to be talking to. And I'm like, oh, this is all legit. But no, they found a company, took the name and took people's LinkedIn profiles and pretended to be them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Wow. So were you actually working for them during this past week?
I mean, that's a heavy-handed word to say worked.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming because you're calling them out on the internets that you're no longer working for them.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Well, again, I'm not defaming the actual company Clutchco because
you're defaming the famers.
The people that took stolen company valor, took their names.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm like, oh, there's like Wall Street Journal articles about this company and everything. Like they're legit, but it's like that wasn't them.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure there's more juicy stories you can't tell me while we're on the air right now. But
I was using a thing called Microsoft Teams, and they're like, "Hey, how's that video coming along?" I'm like, "Oh, I was actually wondering if you like the taste of shit." And they're like, "What?
What? Wait a minute. They asked you that?
No. That's what I said to them once I found out that this was like.
Oh, did you actually like say that? How did you like the taste of shit?
Yeah,
because I know you're full of shit.
Yeah.
What do they say to that?
Well, the thing is, like, it was very much automated responses. I thought, oh, they're probably just using some kind of like, thing where they have a lot of, because it didn't always sound automated, but I'm like, oh, they probably have canned responses for things. But like the responses were so generic and robotic, like it clearly was not like a person talking to me, because like the response was just so like a robot would, not somebody who just was told to eat shit.
So like when you did tell them to eat shit, did they give you a response that was
like, John, I don't understand. I thought things were going very well. I think I'm understood.
So they were kind of like a cyber god,
yes,
if you will,
like
in cyberspace.
Yeah. See, and this is like, that's a great transition. So we're 4 minutes into this recording. If people are still with us, that means they're true fans.
They're true super fans. I mean, I'm pretty sure we lost a bulk of people who were just like,
oh yeah, maybe first time listeners.
Like I do
that all the time with podcasts. Like if they're like I just put on because it's a random movie I like, and it's episode 140 of their podcast, and they're like bantering back and forth at the beginning. I'm like, I don't care. I don't know you people.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sticking with us.
Well, I felt it was necessary to have a little bit of banter, just because, as I mentioned, you kind of, we hadn't really been able to record our Lawnmower Man episode until today.
Yeah.
And I even put out like a TikTok saying, "Hey, episode's coming this week." So yeah,
it's still coming. Technically,
it's
this
still
week.
coming. It's coming the following week.
Very, very early following week.
Yeah. I might have to be like, "Hey, it's all John's fault," and that fucking company. You know who you are.
I was like, yeah, just find somebody like doing like the shrug, like, ooh, and they just Photoshop me over top of it. All John's fault.
I'll just have like the sorry folks, we're closed from Vegas, from vacation, not Vegas vacation.
It's just me worry, like Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, but Lawnmower Man. So this is another Brett Leonard film. If you listen to our Virtuosity episode, this movie came out in 1992. It's a Brett Leonard film, so it's all weirdo virtual reality bullshit.
We're only doing Brett Leonard movies from now on.
You know what? I think we should, because they're very fun to watch. Very fun to watch. That's not trying to shit on Brett Leonard. I actually really like Virtuosity, and I really like Lawnmower Man too.
Until a certain point, in my opinion. But the thing is, like, if somebody's like, "Oh, you did it. It's the same director for 2 movies in a row. Who was it? Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, Brett Leonard."
Yeah. I think that's the only director we've done 2 movies in a row from.
Yeah,
like that's not part of like a trilogy or a franchise, like that sort of thing.
I think that's probably fair, although we're nearing 300, so
we are nearing 300, so it was bound to happen sooner or later.
Every like Halloween season, I'm like, have we done this?
And I'm like,
have we talked about this?
We did 2 years ago. But yeah, Lawnmower Man is the story of Jobe and a not yet James Bond Pierce Brosnan, and the whole idea that virtual reality has the capability of creating super soldiers and improving the intelligence of simple-minded fools.
I can't decide if this movie has an ingenious title or the stupidest title I've ever heard.
Well, the reason the title's there is because this
Mr.
movie,
Coke Master himself.
Yes, Mr. Coke Master himself, Stephen King, wrote the short story that this movie was based on. Now, I gotta say a disclaimer here, okay? Because there very much was a lawsuit that settled this whole thing. So when I say the story this is based on, I mean like
as
literally
loose as loose gets. Yeah.
As the loosest it ever can fucking be. Okay, like to the point where that when they do DVD commentaries of this movie or Blu-ray commentaries of movies, they're not allowed to mention Stephen King.
Yeah, this isn't like The Shine. This isn't like Stanley Kubrick like making a couple big changes. No, this it has almost literally nothing to do except for the fact that there's a guy who mows lawns. I think that's the only connection.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is 100%. There's one scene in this film that I guess you could say pays a backhanded homage to that, and that's the scene where Austin O'Brien's dad gets run over by a lawnmower. That's it. That's controlled by Jobe. But everything else, it's all Brett Leonard and Gimel Everett, who are the screenplay authors in this.
Gimel.
Yeah. And I mean, the story of how this kind of property got moved around was basically that production company had bought up the story rights to it, as most production companies do, and it just got kind of passed around. And in typical Hollywood fashion, because this pretty much happens with Hellraiser direct-to-video movies, they would take the concept and say, well, how can we mash it together into something that's completely unrelated? The biggest problem, though, is that they did it in a way where they're saying and they're marketing this movie as from the mind of Stephen King, when in actuality, none of this was from the mind of Stephen King.
What like linguistic nightmare that is too, from the mind of Stephen King. It's like when it's from the studio that brought you. It's like, Warner Brothers makes like 400 movies a year. It's like from the studio. Wow. That's just, I like inspired by true events.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that is just some word salad there to say. We technically got a couple of ideas while we were high as fuck reading Richard Bachman's short story.
Well, I mean, they didn't even like, the filmmakers behind this, they had wrote their own script that had nothing to do with Lawnmower Man. That's what I'm saying. It isn't even like they're reading, the Lawnmower Man and they're like, oh man, what we could do is instead of, Jobe being this weird nudist who's overweight and chews up grass with a mower that mows itself, and he's trying to sacrifice, and he's trying to sacrifice someone to the god Pan, which I'm not kidding you. That's the real book. That's the real short story.
Yeah, Stephen King has this obsession with trying to make like ordinary household objects look really scary. Like, he saw Psycho and it's like, oh, I can do what they did for the shower or what Jaws did for the ocean. Yeah. I can do it with toilets and lawnmowers and Chevys and,
Which is, I mean, that's, people who like Stephen King will like Stephen King for those things. I mean, it's the same reason why I love Clive Barker stories, because of, Clive Barker's voice and point of view on horror. But my point is like, the filmmakers didn't read The Lawnmower Man and suddenly go, oh yes, that's the story I'm going to adapt to a film. It is called, some Hollywood big shot was like, hey, you know what? I've got this property that has Stephen King's name on it. And, movies like, Pet Sematary and The Shining, because they've got Stephen King's name on them, they'll do gangbusters because people will come to the next Stephen King movie. Yeah. So like it was purely a marketing ploy. That's 100% what this was. And that's ultimately what won King the lawsuit, was that it was pretty much a home run, saying like New Line at the time was selling this movie on King's name. And King's like, but I'm not at all involved in this, and you guys are sure as hell aren't paying me. So like, that's a problem.
Well, it also took Stephen King like a minute to like remember, like, I wrote a story about a lawnmower.
I don't know. This was the early 90s King. I don't think he was doing the no snow in the early 90s. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. But allegedly. Allegedly. I don't want to get sued by him. But yeah, like this is such a weird thing, because even when I posted the trailer for Lawnmower Man on TikTok, and I think I did on Instagram too. The one thing I noticed, I didn't realize it at the time, was that it's the original trailer that had King's name in it. But if you listen to it, the first line in it is from the mind of blank nothing, and then goes into like the voiceover. So like they had to edit all of that shit. Every marketing material that had King's name on this thing had to be scrubbed.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard of any outside of like Crispin Glover and Back to the Future 2. I haven't heard of any type of lawsuit like this.
I mean, I totally get it. I mean, it's shady as fuck,
Absolutely.
It's a boardroom of guys, like old white dudes who are like, can we get away with this? Yeah, probably. The guy's written so many stories, he won't even remember this one.
True.
But you know what the biggest takeaway I take from this movie? Is that pre-Bond, Hollywood did not know what to do with Pierce Brosnan.
True.
I mean, this and Mrs. Doubtfire, they're like, we don't know what to do with you. Like, you're handsome, so we want you to be in movies, but we just don't know where to put you.
Well, I find it hilarious how like you gotta wonder, like when they're casting this movie, they're like, hey, we need a mad scientist guy who doesn't exactly like look like a mad scientist, but he has to be British.
Yeah.
So
Like Remington Steele.
Give me Remington Steele. He's not doing anything now, right? Because Pierce Brosnan, like, he's supposed to be the hero in this, right? Like, you're supposed to like root for him, but he's just a dick.
Yeah, it's like the movie doesn't know who it wants to be a protagonist because, like, he comes off at first like he wants to do good, but then kind of
not really.
He's kind of very much shades of gray. And then we got our Lawnmower Man, Jobe, who's like is a good person, but then gets absolutely like destroyed by all this knowledge he gains from, you know, I guess cyberspace. Is that what we're gonna call it?
No, not he gains it from a combination of like virtual reality learning tapes, okay, and drugs.
Yeah.
And drugs. Still a lot of drugs.
Drugs open all our minds, man.
Shit ton of drugs. But what I mean is, like, with Pierce Brosnan, the reason why I say he's a dick, okay, is he's got the mad scientist trope of I'm all consumed by my work and VR is going to change the face of humanity and I can't separate myself long enough to go to the city with my wife. He's a real fucking asshole to his wife, Caroline, throughout the entire movie, to the point where, like, when she dies and gets shot up by the agents from the quote unquote shop, like, how am I supposed to like feel like his reaction is like, oh my God, she's dead. I'm like, dude, you completely sidelined her through most of the movie.
Yeah. She leaves like 30 minutes into the movie. Yeah.
But I'm like, every interaction you have with her is, oh, God damn it, Caroline, why do you want me to go to the city with you? Don't you know that I'm grieving because of my monkey, Roscoe? He's dead, God damn it. I'm very depressed.
Yeah, and for a little context for those that haven't seen it, the movie opens up with like a chimpanzee who was
Roscoe.
Like, yeah, because before he decided to just jump straight to human trials, Pierce Brosnan's character is working on chimpanzees because obviously they share so much of their DNA with us. They're one of the smartest animals.
Yeah, and
like the chimpanzees almost become like a really dim-witted human. Like its intellect has gone that
I don't think dim-witted.
Yeah.
At all, man. Like one, they're training these chimpanzees to be super soldiers, okay? Like complete with armor and a RoboCop visor, which, you know, our friends at Movie Dumpster warned us about the Cybo Man section in this, and they were 100% right. Because, you know, he is the Cybo Man. Roscoe is the Cybo Man who shows up to Jobe after he escapes. But yeah, he's not dim-witted at all. He's able to outgun security forces at this clandestine paramilitary virtual like technology company, VSI, which no one knows what they do, but you pretty much know like they're responsible for probably overthrowing a couple governments.
They do computer,
but terrorism.
In like 1992, you could just be like, they just do computer, and people are like, oh yeah. I heard about those.
They just do computer, but like they exist as this company that does some sort of shady dealings. Like, you know, they're not like the U.S. government at all. One, because of their lack of lighting. Like, you go to, you know, a lot of people like criticize the lighting in like Office as being like soul draining. That nice, like, you know, green tinge of fluorescent bulbs. No, this is 1,000 times worse because you literally go to work every day in a blue lit cave. And the outside looks like the command center of the Power Rangers.
Alpha. Get me teenagers with attitude.
Well, that's who runs the shop is Zordon. While he's doing Power Rangers, he's also developing chimpanzees that can murder people.
Oh, completely unnecessary sidebar. The actor they got to play Zordon, he came in for like 3 hours one day, and they just like recycled that 3 hours worth of footage for like the next 20 years.
Yep.
And he's like, they paid me like $80 and they made billions off of this.
Hollywood. Gotta love it.
There's a reason there's a strike. Yeah.
Taking advantage of people. That should be the catchphrase for Hollywood. welcome to Hollywood, where we take advantage of you. But yeah,
Metro Golden Mare will ruin your life $1 million at a time.
getting back to Lawnmower Man. Roscoe escapes, and this causes James Bond to be really depressed, and he takes it out on his wife, who just wants to go to the city. Poor Caroline just wants to go to the city to get out a little bit.
Bitch wants to go see fucking cats and get a little bit of crab dip. Just take her out for fucking apple teenies.
That's it. That's all she wants to do. Or, she could want what Republican Lauren Boebert wanted, was just to feel up in the middle of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like smoke weed,
smoke some vapes.
And get felt up and sing Beetlejuice. Yeah,
sing Beetlejuice and get felt up. Maybe that's all she wanted. But no. And of course, we're missing the part where we do get Cybo Man and he meets Jobe, and you have this very, very weird like back and forth. And it's mostly a scene that was cut. It's now included in the director's cut of this movie, where you get the idea of how simple Jobe really is.
Yeah, they're very careful. It's very much like Forrest Gump level.
Simple Jack.
Yeah,
I go with Simple Jack.
Because they're never going to use the R word.
No.
No. But he's not that. He's just simple.
Yeah.
Salt of the earth, that Jobe.
Yeah. It's one of those things that whole scene with the Cybo Man is really to show that off, and for us to get our first kill in this movie. John, you want to talk about the first kill?
Oh God. So I saw this movie. I did in preparation for this about 3 weeks ago. And I can't remember now. What
I wonder why. Why is it hard for you to come up with the things, John? Is it because we were delayed a week?
Maybe. And I watched this 3 weeks ago. Yeah, and I even saw the director's cut, so I probably saw the even further extended cut. But please refresh my memory.
I'll save you on this one.
Yeah.
Angelo and his team come, and of course you have this scene where Angelo's just like, please don't kill him. We need him to study his brain. But sure enough, like all scenes like this, Roscoe pulls out a gun and starts shooting people. And I'm talking about the chimpanzee. Starts shooting. and sure enough, everyone else shoots and kills Roscoe. In front of Jobe.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I got you now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, John. But yeah, so Roscoe's dead, causes James Bond to be very depressed. Won't take Caroline out to the city.
The city.
We don't know what city. We just know it's the city.
Just yes. What city is it? Yes. It's like 7. They never say what city that's supposed to be.
No. But what's funny about this is that in reaction to all of this, James Bond, just keep calling him James Bond. His name's Angelo, Dr. Angelo, but I'm just going to call him James Bond because he's basically nerdy James Bond in this. He tells the shop that he's done. He's going to take his work, private, which, yeah, sure. Telling a shady dealing, paramilitary company that you're taking your very important work private. Yeah, that's not going to ever result in anything.
And how does
deadly.
That work? I mean, like, you're not going to be paid. There's also probably so many ethical and legal violations that he's going to end up in, especially jumping to human trials.
Well, I'm just going with the whole, like, you're taking this stuff you were making for, they're clearly bad people.
Yeah.
And you're going to take it and just expect to walk away and not get murdered? Like, do you not know who you work for? You're a smart guy.
Yeah, but he seems blissfully naive,
Oh, he's 100% blissfully naive. Like,
he's like the scientist in Day of the Dead who doesn't realize that he's around like the craziest military guys in the world.
Yeah. Richard Liberty. But I just love it how in this moment they're like, okay, well don't leave, but just take a sabbatical. Take like a good maybe month or two break. and then come back and do some, evil science stuff for us. And I love it how he's like, okay, fuck you guys. I'm gonna take my sabbatical that I'm gonna get paid for. And then, as he's like developing Jobe, who are the first people he goes back to? The evil corporation that, you did this before and it ended up not working. Do you think that they're not going to use this for malicious purposes?
Hey, look, I mean, where else is he going to get paper clips and Staples from?
I mean, I guess so, but like,
if he wanted to go to Staples, he'd have to go into the city.
Yeah, he can't go to the city.
Yeah.
Especially not with Caroline. Can't do that.
Oh, God,
but
who would want to go with her?
I guess that's why I say, like, it's hard for me to root for him because he's kind of stupid. He's stupid smart.
Yeah, which is most dangerous smart.
That is the most dangerous type of smart. But let's talk a little bit about Jobe, where Jobe lives. Where's Jobe live, John?
Well, I think in his mind he lives
I know
in
it's
Candyland.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But like
well, yeah, Jobe like lives in a church.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and he gets whacked around.
Oh yeah.
But-
he totally gets whacked around because he happens to, I don't know, feel bad about his quote unquote buddy Cybo Man getting gunned down in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be sad if I watched a chimpanzee be gunned down in front of my face.
Yeah.
I think I'd be bummed the rest of the day.
Down in front of your face, I'd be upset. But apparently that's a sin. And Father Douchebag McKean decides that that's a punishable sin that you have to be whipped for.
Yeah, this is where they build up that like he's our hero until he isn't, because he's like just this like I just like comic books and hanging out with my kid friends.
My kid friend. No one cares.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm just innocent as all gets out, but I get beaten up and mocked by everybody, and then, yeah, near the end of the movie, it's like, everyone must die. I am the smartest man in the world. I will rape everyone else's brain. I am Edward Nigma, but with the box.
Yeah, he's Edward Nigma. Oh man, well, that would be cool. Edward Nigma and Cybo Man and Jobe exist in the same universe. Oh, crossover of all time. Well, I love the fact that like no one seems to like stick up for this guy at all. Like he gets shit on at all ends from everyone in the town. Like,
except his like little kid friend.
Except his little kid friend, but his little kid friend doesn't know any better. Like that's the whole reason why. Like he gets shit on from the local douchebag gas station attendant. So maybe this takes place in Jersey.
Yeah, because he's trying to pump his own gas.
Yeah, maybe this takes place in Jersey. But yeah, he gets shit on by that guy who apparently has the quintessential bad guy attire for 1992. That includes round-rimmed black sunglasses that you don't ever take off. And a do-rag, that sort of thing. So
he's got that biker chic.
He's got that biker chic. Which you just like, you know that he peaked in high school. 100%. But he shits on Joe.
Maybe middle school.
Maybe middle school. Yeah. Yeah. To get that level of douchebag, you have to peak at middle school and go down.
I won the 6th grade spelling bee, motherfucker. Deal with it.
Yeah. But he gets shit on at all ends from everybody in the town, and no one sticks up for him. And I guess, Angelo's kind of like bored in his sabbatical, so he needs a project. And sure enough, Jobe becomes his project.
He's like, you know what I'm going to do now that I got a little bit of free time? I'm going to play God.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is your vacation. Why are you doing work on your vacation? Maybe you should take Caroline to the city.
I like
Just
that's
saying.
an actual television show too from the 90s.
Takes Caroline to the city.
Yeah. He's a special one where he's like, didn't work out with the ape. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to try a human being.
Let's try human.
What
but
happens.
hey, you know what? I've changed my formula now, so instead of it being red vials, it's blue.
Yeah,
That was all it took.
that changes
all it
everything.
took.
I mean,
And
blue.
I'm not going to show violent video games to Jobe. I'm going to show like, trippy seizure-inducing symbols to him, and also he's going to play like a light psycho video game.
Yeah, it's just like he's grooming him, essentially.
Yes.
It's like, hey, come on into my basement. I'll let you play all the video games you want. Oh, by the way, I just need to attach this to your brain.
Okay, Dr. Angelo, that sounds like a good idea. I want to be real smart.
And it's just, it goes to show like the early 90s and everything. Well, the reason we're kind of like going over these movies, how incorrect their fears were, is that they didn't, I guess a movie about somebody wallowing away on their couch watching like Disney Plus or binging Netflix while on their phone on Facebook farting doesn't make a very good movie. But it's more, the reality of our world is more of a Huxley world where we're just kind of like moronic drooling idiots because of all the entertainment we have available to us, and not the Terminator vibe that all these movies after Cameron came along with. Oh no, cyberspace will turn certain people into super genius soldiers and destroy the world.
Yeah. What I do find funny about Jobe's transformation is that like it's the worst kept secret in the whole town and no one seems to like call it out. Like for the first like month or two, he's just like, he's reading books. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jobe's reading books, folks.
Hey, Jobe, did you comb your hair and you don't have any boogers on your shirt anymore? That's impressive.
Wow.
Did you
went
cut
to
your nails?
Kmart?
Yeah.
You went to Kmart and you got a new shirt?
Are you
And
wearing
some pants?
Jordans? Nice shoes. Yeah.
Oh no, he wouldn't. Jobe doesn't wear Jordans. He wears Dockers shoes. Remember Dockers shoes? Like Dockers, the company makes pants. They probably buys the shoe. Like he probably went to Sears because this is the early 90s. So Sears was still like in business and people went there. So he probably went to Sears and it's the early 90s. So like the whole country western thing's big, which is why he's wearing all of this country western shit, but it's all knockoff stuff. Like the cheap shit you get at Sears.
He's like, but you see, I wear tough skins. It is the only pants that are logical. They hold out longer than any other Dockers.
Dockers. Yes. But yeah, like everyone could see that something's going on with him. Like, but no, and it seems to be like he spends all of his time at that creepy Dr. Angelo's house doing all manner of what.
Look, they probably just think that they're gay lovers together.
Well,
perfectly legit.
I mean, I gotta say, I don't know about that because Dr. Angelo's throws the fuck me vibes to Peter's mom.
Oh, yes. Well,
like,
yeah.
There's a whole scene where he's just like, yes, I'm sorry that you're married to a abusive asshole. Peter's a wonderful child.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even acknowledged the fact that people just gloss over child violence in this movie like it's nothing.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
He's like, hey, Peter, why is your bike in the yard? He starts beating the crap out of the kid, and Pierce Brosnan's just like, that's too bad. Somebody should do something about it.
Somebody should do something about that. Maybe someone who works at a clandestine military industrial complex company with access to countless weapons and creatures that, that have cybernetic enhancements. Maybe someone like that should take care of Peter's dad. Oh, wait, Jobe does.
Yeah. It's like, hey, like you work at that company where monkeys can do algebra. Maybe you just step up, do something.
You can't send a monkey to go get rid of Peter's dad. Couldn't do that. Cybo Man couldn't have taken him out.
Well, speaking of like horniness with women in this movie, I do love the woman that Jobe mows the lawn for, who
Marnie,
who looks in her rearview mirror and goes, "Hey, I never noticed that mental defective had such a hot ass."
Well, I love how the everyone in the town is just like, "Yep, Marnie screws everybody in the town."
Yeah, if you got
for Jobe,
if you got 5 inches or above, and you know how to keep your mouth shut, you can take a ride on this village bike.
I just am like, really? Who wrote this shit? And just like, yes, this woman has sex with everybody except for Jobe. But hey, Jobe, he went to Sears. He got a haircut. So now he's fuckable.
He got himself a pair of tight trousers. And boy, did he fill them out.
Yeah, and it was the day that he was stuffing down there. So that was it. That's what did it in. But yeah, so I guess smarts make you sexy. Is that what we're going for?
Well, I guess like at first she noticed that the curvature of his buttock, which I don't think she had noticed before because he wore like overalls and stuff.
Yes, and he was eating like, peanut butter jelly sandwiches backwards.
Yeah. But I think it was like he also like has confidence now because he's smart, and she's like, oh, you like have a six pack and a buttocks, and now you seem like confident with yourself. I really want to hump this mental defective.
Yeah, the whole mental defective part. That I say like I can't really root for her either because like she's lived in the town for a long time and probably knows that not everything's all right up there with Jobe, and kind of taking advantage of someone who has a disability.
It's like, yes, I am smart now. I read books. Like, oh no, are you really, really smart? It's F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm like, oh, only kind of smart. Okay, that's good.
Or I actually know how to read the comic books now. Yeah. That's what it is.
I used to just look at the pictures.
I just look at the pictures. Now I can read because she starts getting into him like not quite yet when he's like super hunky. Like she starts to notice him when he's still wearing overalls. So like she's still like at that point it's he's reading the comic books. But yeah, like she completely kind of takes advantage of him, and they become a thing for about 5 minutes because Jobe later on in the movie decides that because he can now read minds, because I forgot to mention that, like he gets so smart that he develops psychic powers. And one of those psychic powers that he can read people's thoughts. And he apparently reads Marnie's thoughts and realizes that she's a complete fucking freak.
Yeah.
Like tons of like erotic freakiness. And so Jobe's like, hey, you know what? You want to get freaky? Let's go strap on some VR suits and have some cyber sex.
Yeah, let's go into a military compound after hours. We'll break in and we'll have cyber nookie.
It's like, dude, there's this thing. It's called a dildo and lube, and I'm sure you can make that pretty erotic. Like, but you go to the military complex to have some cyber sex, in which it basically catatonic. It turns your girlfriend into a catatonic.
Which, let's face it, that's all she was from the beginning.
Oh, come on! I won't go that far. I do love it when the last time she's mentioned, it's like, yeah, Marnie Burke, she was running around naked in the town square, laughing, completely broken.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Just shaking around in a ditch with twigs in her hair and pine cones up her ass. Just lost it.
It's like, oh man, Jobe really made his mark. Oh shit.
Classic Jobe.
But
I will say that the first, like, even I'd say the first 2 acts of this movie, I'm like, okay, this isn't a great movie, but it's fine. It's when the movie tries to like go above and beyond its budget that like I don't even think I paid attention to most of the third act because the effects were so bad. I was like,
okay,
oh,
so
no.
the effects are what kind of turned you off to it.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes laughably bad, and there's constraint. Like if you take a look at a rough cut, you go, maybe we need to maybe it's the light we don't turn on here, guys.
I mean, come on, this is a movie about virtual reality turning people into god/monsters.
I think the Lawnmower Man should have just kidnapped a woman's daughter and put her into like this like air filtration system with a bomb. I know, and then they could have tried to undo the bomb and go, I thought of that one too.
Couple years later, John.
Okay.
A couple years later. I mean, here's the thing. I don't have too much of a problem with the effects in this one, and I know that you're like going, shock.
From Brian.
Brian. And that's because it's 1992, and on top of that, it just fits with the whole VR vibe. Like this is what people thought virtual reality was going to look like in 1992. So
It does seem like one of those things that maybe looked okay for its time, but then
yeah.
as like we all thought like, oh, Attack of the Clones, like, wow, look at the special effects in that movie. Now it looks like a PS2 game.
Right. But I think the thing is, it's like, it's not supposed to be realistic. Like, I think the only moments in this where I'm just like, yeah, that's not, that takes me out of it, is when Father McKean gets lit on fire.
Oh.
Or what we're saying is fire, but not really fire. And it's more like a fractal noise that is going all over the actor. And for our fans who know what that is, it's an After Effects effect that is basically tinted orange. And that's it.
Yeah. And look, I'll say, for anybody who's seen that Kane Hodder documentary where he was setting himself on fire as doing a stunt for a news reporter, like, went wrong, and he had the agonizing recovery for like a year.
Yeah.
Like, I understand not wanting, even if a person is certified to do the fire effects, to not do it, but at the same time, maybe get somebody that knows how to render fire a little bit better.
It was just the thing, like, I know that at the time they're just like, this is the best we got. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. Then you don't do that. You don't call it fire then. You find some other way of destroying that person. And you can't tell me they didn't. Like, shit, the ball action effect that they apply to everybody else in this movie that gets their molecules like ripped apart, that's actually pretty cool. And I actually think it works fine for the movie. Is it chintzy and ridiculous? Yeah, but it's a movie about a guy who gets smart from VR. So yeah, I'll buy it. But like, when you're telling me, oh yes, Father McKean was lit on fire. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was lit on digital, whatever the fuck that was. Like that's 100% what it was. So I'm, Brett Leonard, I'm sorry. If you can't do it well, if you can't show it well, don't show it. Find some other way of making him like ripped apart. Like, honestly, you could have done a whole thing where like Jobe's mind makes all the skin fall off of Father McKean, like ripped apart. Like, that's a practical effect that you could do in 1992. And he turns into like a bloody skeleton. Okay, there you go. And you could, that probably costs more money, but Jesus Christ, you're paying all the money for CG shit that probably took what, like 6 months to render out. So in 1991, time. So I gotta go with like that those effects right there that are supposed to be reminiscent of reality. They're the ones I find problematic. But everything else, though, like the scenes where Super Jobe at this point in time is using his mind to like throw the Lawnmower Man into that douchebag's head, the gas station attendant.
There's a lot of fucking. This movie turns into a mess.
Oh, I love it, but I love it though, and I love those scenes. Like, those are scenes that stick with me, and it's because of the fact that it's not realistic looking, and it's not the what we would call good CGI nowadays, but it's that very weird like 16-bit graphic look and feel to it that I appreciate those things.
It's like the Sega 32X.
Yeah.
That you could smack
when
on your
when it
Sega.
did work,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So like, I appreciate those effects, and I appreciate even Jobe when he ends up, shedding his earthly form and turns into a cyber god, and he looks like a digital avatar of Jeff Fahey. And I like it because he looks unrealistic and he looks unnatural, which is exactly what that character's supposed to be at that time. Yeah,
which is fair, but yeah, I love that James Bond's like, I'm gonna trap him in the cyber world, and I'm gonna blow him the fuck up.
Well, there's a lot we're skipping over, John.
I mean,
there's a lot we're skipping over. We're skipping over, Jobe killing Peter's dad with a lawnmower that he's controlling with his brain. We're skipping over the shop deciding that they're gonna give Jobe the old formula, the old Project 5 formula. So not the blue tinted drugs, but the red tinted drugs, the ones that turned Roscoe crazy. And that's ultimately probably what turned Jobe crazy. Like, that's the thing is you could say that if Dr. Angelo wasn't fucked around by the shop, then probably Jobe wouldn't have gone nutty nuts.
Well, it's the movie's getting its like kill quota in because I would call this sci-fi horror.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it reminds me of like Halloween Ends when it's just about this kid.
Don't remind me about Halloween Ends.
This like little whiny ass kid who has like his life really sucks, but then he wants to become the new Michael Myers, and then the movie's like in its third act, and it's like, shit, we haven't really killed anybody worth a fuck. How about he just goes and kills like 8 people right away? You know. So I think it's okay if we gloss over that.
Okay. All right. Well, fine then. I'd go into all that shit. That's just me. But yeah, so Jobe, he kills people in some very inventive ways. Okay, we already talked about his fake fire bullshit. But the way he kind of kills these people from the shop who like ambush Angelo's home, really sadistic. So one, he brainwashes Caroline because all the woman wanted to do was go to the fucking city. So I'm guessing that the fantasy she put in her head was that she finally went to the fucking city.
Downtown when you're alone.
Yeah, so that's the fantasy in Caroline's head is I just want to go to the fucking city. So she's finally at the city, but her body is doing like 1950s housewife shit. And she pulls out a gun on the hired guns from the shop who are there to like take Angelo and Jobe back to the shop to basically be slaves, and do the bidding of, I would say Dean Norris, the director, just giant head. But she ends up shooting them, and in response, like they shoot back, she dies. Angelo sees all this through a VR helmet. Don't ask me how that works and where the cameras are. It's there.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, it's computer.
It's computer. But I love it because the scene leads to the giant orange Jeff Fahey head that just glows above them all and starts turning people into CC ball action.
Seems legit. Checks out.
Legit.
Checks out.
And CC ball action, for again our non-filmmaker people, is an effect in After Effects which basically turns your layer into balls. That's what it does. And that's the effect that's used in this. I 100% know that. That is 100% the effect used in this CC ball action. But yeah, Joe kind of goes on a murdering rampage. Kills Dr. Angelo's wife. And then where else does he kill? He kills that guy at the gas station. He then goes to the shop and he's going to upload his brain into the internet because reasons.
Yeah, which okay.
He wants to be a cyber god.
Does that mean like if I went onto like Google, he would just come on my computer and be like, "Give me your money"?
Yes, it means that. I mean, keep in mind this is 1992, so like there was
Ask
no
Jeeves.
Was Ask Jeeves around in 92?
Web crawler.
Yeah, this is even probably before internet porn. So it'd be like if you're downloading like a naked picture of Gillian Anderson and you get like, halfway through, it would turn to Jobe.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe he's wearing those tight ass Dockers.
Yeah, but that's after like 5 hours of waiting for the thing to download.
Well, we didn't even know who Gillian was. I mean, well, unless you really were a huge fan of her. That's pre-X-Files.
That's true. That's 92. I got to figure. I mean, maybe Heather Locklear. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah. So he wants to upload his consciousness into the internet, and he basically uploads it to the mainframe, which completely destroys his body. Now you might be asking yourself, well, Brian, I see that there's a Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace, that has Jobe in it. Why is he there if he's dead here?
Well, the movie leaves it pretty open-ended.
No.
All those phones ringing?
Well, there's that, but it's also like, if you look at Jobe's body in Lawnmower Man 2, it's gone. However, not Lawnmower Man, in the first Lawnmower Man, his body's gone. But in Lawnmower Man 2, he's played by Matthew Furrer, and he's very much has a body. Like, he's just in a wheelchair.
Well, it's the Chucky rule, right?
Yeah.
Like, like in the third movie, Chucky is cut into like 147 pieces.
Yeah.
But it's like by the time it's Bride of Chucky,
Just
it's like,
five.
just his face just needs
It's just five.
stitched up a little
It's
bit.
just five pieces. But yeah, so don't think too hard about that. Just know there's a substandard sequel called Lawnmower Man 2.
Well, there's a
Beyond
whole
Cyberspace.
franchise, right? I've never seen the sequels.
There's not a third one.
Is there?
No, there's only a two. There's two.
I thought
There's
I thought they
Lawnmower
did
Man 2.
like 4 of them.
No, not this one. No, Beyond Cyberspace was terrible, like really bad. That's one we eventually have to do. But
man.
yeah, if people really like our 90s sci-fi dystopian future movies, we'll maybe do a sequel version to it, because there's a bunch of these out there. But yeah, so Joe puts his brain and consciousness into cyberspace. Dr. Angelo's got some bombs because that's what you did in movies from 1992. In the 90s is you want to destroy the killer, blow him up.
It needs some explosions. This movie needs some explosions.
Needs explosions. So Peter and Peter's mom and Dr. Angelo, James Bond, go to the Power Rangers base because that's where Jobe's at, uploading his brain to the internet. And I guess prior to this, after Jobe made Angelo watch his wife get murdered, he put a virus into the mainframe.
She just wanted tapas.
She just wanted to go to see some musical theater, maybe get felt up.
Maybe buy one of those rip-off Coach purses on the sidewalk.
That's all a woman wanted to do, was just go to the fucking city.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he had uploaded a virus to prevent Jobe from going out to the internet easily. Like, there's a lot of blockage. I don't know, computer shit. And, he decides that he's going to jump inside the cyberspace and battle this now untethered from reality Jobe, which seems like a dumb fucking idea.
No, I mean, Brian, how could you lose a fight to something that has like no limitations or pain?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Like here, that's like you deciding like, hey, this is like the boss of a video game, and I'm just gonna go ahead and this is me being very old here. I'm gonna give him all of the powers in my game genie and jump inside and face him.
Yeah, without doing any camping, where you build up all your stats and stuff.
Yeah, no. I'm going to give him infinity lives and infinity in strength and everything. And I'm just going to jump inside the game and face him as a human.
Well, Brian, you had it in your soul all along.
No.
It was inside you all along.
No. King Koopa lighting your ass on fire is not going to be saved by your soul.
King Koopa throwing like 9 arms worth of fucking hammers.
Yes. Yeah. So he decides to battle him in the virtual world to kind of distract him so the bombs could go off. But of course, like every movie from this period, you have to have like the fake out thing that causes like the good-hearted Jobe we saw in the beginning of the movie pop out. And that's, of course, Peter being an idiot and deciding to go rush into the Power Rangers base where the bombs are at.
Wait, was this the kid from Last Action Hero?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
Yes, it was. And he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, you clearly can see that Angelo has the explosives in the car. Like, what he's doing.
Something had to bring his humanity back,
for half a second.
Yeah, it's not like, speaking of another Stephen King property, although I don't want Stephen King to sue me. I know the Lawnmower Man movie has nothing to do with your story, but like how Jack in The Shining has no redeeming moment whatsoever,
except for that one moment.
When?
What, as in the book, doesn't he like have a redeeming moment?
Yes. I'm talking about like the Kubrick version.
Oh, in the Kubrick movie, there's no fucking redeeming moment. He's a mass murdering maniac. Yeah. But yeah, so Peter goes into the Power Rangers base, and sure enough, this causes Jobe to be like, "Oh, I didn't want to murder Peter. He's one of the good ones." So he tells Angelo to get Peter out, and he basically clears a path for him to get out, and the whole place explodes, and Jobe escapes to cyberspace.
So we can have sequels.
So we can have sequels that are not very good.
Yeah. And like the movie ends where it's like James Bond's like, Peter, I'm going to fuck your mom and make you tuna fish sandwiches. And he's like, yay, everything's great. I
think he wanted to fuck his mom the entire movie.
And she's like, can we go to the city? He's like, of course. What do I look like? Kind of guy doesn't want to go to the city?
I love the city. Why would I never want to go to the city?
We could go to that like really expensive shoe store and and get some sushi. Yeah, we'll go into the city. We'll be
make
great
it
time.
a whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll make it a whole day of going to the city.
You know what? We're going to go to
you,
medieval
Dr.
times.
Angelo.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dr. Angelo. You suck balls.
But at the end of the movie, he like the phone rings and he's like, ahoy hoy. And then,
ahoy hoy.
And it's like, I'm Jobe. I'm still here. And then like all the phones ring in the entire world.
If this movie had come out a couple years later, you would have had that 56K modem sound.
Oh yeah.
That's what it would have been. And that's what it should have been, honestly. Like you got to imagine if those were around back then. So it would have been fun to hear like that sound there. Why is that happening? And then that sound fills up everything. It's like, holy shit. He's alive in cyberspace. But I do love the fact that he doesn't mourn his wife at all.
Nah.
Like, we don't know how long between when he blows up the the Power Rangers base and when the ring happens that he's like, I'm going to take my work on the road. No, you should stop doing your work. And maybe mourn your wife that you're responsible for killing.
We kind of only meet these characters like well into their relationship. Maybe, just maybe, his wife Carolyn was a fucking like evil person this whole time. Maybe she wanted to go to the city because there's a human trafficking thing that she's really into.
No, I'm Team Caroline. Team Caroline. Poor woman just wanted to go to the city and get felt up at a Beetlejuice concert.
Hell yeah. Doing it Bobert style, baby.
Doing it Bobert style. That's all she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Was just have a night on the town, get felled up by James Bond.
Can't you honk my side boob while Beetlejuice sings in Showtime?
Oh, I've seen so many memes of that. It's so good. It's like, this is what the internet was made for. It was not made to.
It was not made for Jobe.
It was not made for Jobe. It was made for memes of terrible government officials doing horrible things in front of children, mind you. Okay.
Yeah.
That are pure hypocrisy. Like that's what it was made for.
Memes, funny animal videos.
Yes.
And
and lots of porn.
And porn.
Lots of porn.
Yeah.
That's what it was for.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Virtuosity guy, but you didn't get the future right. At least not yet.
Not yet. He still he could make another movie. But final thoughts, John, on the Lawnmower Man.
Well, as I said, just looking at these things in context of what were they afraid of what we would become as compared to what we actually became. And I don't think that it's this kind of, the name of the guy who directed Terminator, for love of God, Cameron, James Cameron dystopia that kind of all followed his work. I think it's, like I said, it's closer to Huxley's look of, we have all these streaming services that we just park our fat asses in front of and eat Cheetos and drool on ourselves while we get notifications on TikTok and everything else on our phones. And with that way, we have all this entertainment and distractions that we ignore all the different ways we're getting fucked in the ass by the system. That is more accurate to the world that we're living in, but that doesn't exactly make a really good movie.
No, it doesn't.
Although it's kind of Wall-E meets Idiocracy. That's my view of the future. Wall-E plus Idiocracy.
Hey, not a bad. That's a hell of a movie right there. Wall-E plus Idiocracy. Yeah, I mean, for me, I love this movie because of the cheesiness. Like, I really do. this is a guilty pleasure of mine. Like a lot of people say, oh, it's a bad movie. One, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a fun movie. The Lawnmower Man is a fun watch. At least I find it to be a fun watch. Jeff Fahey, that man delivers in everything he's in.
What else has he been in? I mean, I know that I've seen him in other stuff.
He was in, he was the villain in Dark Man 3, Die, Dark Man, Die.
Oh, not just the best Dark Man, but the best film ever.
Yeah. He was the gangster villain in Dark Man 3. He also was in Machete. Okay. And he's been in a bunch of other like B-grade action movies. He's so good. Jeff Fahey. The world needs more Jeff Fahey. Just saying that right now. Okay. I don't need more Dr. Angelo. I need more Jeff Fahey.
Oh, that's right. He's in Psycho 3. He's like the rock star dude.
Yes, he is. He's hilarious. He gives 100% in every role the man's in. I mean, he's so good. We need more Jeff Fahey. Okay. We need it. Need it. Come on. Jeff Fahey, if you're listening to the episode, please do more movies. In fact, do more movies and come on our show to talk about.
Hell yeah. Come on, Jeff.
But I love Jeff Fahey in this. I don't even mind the supporting roles, really. Like, we joke a bit about, Marnie and the douchebag at the gas station and, the douchebag father and his drunk brother who's Jobe's boss. We didn't really talk too much about him. But, like, they all support the characters well enough. But, they're kind of surface level. But they're not bad. Like, I don't go like, oh, I'm completely taken out of the movie because they're in it.
Well, I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 characters typically in a movie. This is like a Robert Altman movie that need to be fleshed out. And the other ones, are just background.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a fun watch. You will not have a bad time watching Lawnmower Man. You just won't. It's goofy. It's off the walls. I mean, if you're really looking for something deep and thinking like, oh yes, this is what the future holds. This isn't that movie, This is a fun movie to watch. I enjoyed this just the same way that I enjoyed Virtuosity. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, and I would say, join us if you haven't seen these movies in kind of revisiting these cyberpunk movies of the 90s when we were all like, what is the internet? I'm scared. And like what we all thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a fun movie. Take a look at Lawnmower Man. And definitely here's the thing too. And I will stand by what movie dumpster folks told us. Don't watch the theatrical version. Watch the director's cut because there is more there. Like, a lot of times you'll see people say, oh, well, catch the extended cut and catch the director's cut. There's only like maybe 5 minutes worth of extra material. Here's the thing. The director's cut of Lawnmower Man actually does have a lot that if you watch the theatrical version, you're going to miss. Like Caroline getting murdered, that's not in the theatrical version.
Maybe that's for the best, considering how flippant James Bond was about her death.
They completely cut her character out completely.
Yeah.
Like she's there just to say, I want to go to the city, and that's it.
I say, like I know, because I watched the director's cut, and I think I saw this movie when I was a kid, because I remember flashes of it.
Yeah.
In my head. So I know I saw it when I was little, but like I had to rewatch it for the show. I mean, I rewatch anything. We
rewatch all of the movies. I know it's hard to believe that we watch all these, but we do.
But at the same time, if you were like, hey, John, you remember Lawnmower Man? I'd be like, I remember a lawnmower and virtual reality. I think that was it. Wasn't James Bond in it?
I mean, I've seen this movie a whole bunch of times because it's a fun watch. And but I mean, like the extended cut adds a lot of what apparently the New Line folks thought at the time was not really important, and that is called character development. No joke. They said they cut all that stuff out because it's like, well, we don't want to see that. We want to see like the explosions and murderings and stuff. Yeah. House that Freddy built, not surprised.
Yeah, people don't come to New Line for nuance.
Just wait a couple of years.
They want Super Freddy.
What's Super Freddy? But yeah, watch the extended cut, the director's cut of it, because it's really That's the version I think anyone who's watching Lawnmower Man should watch. Just has more to it. And it's a fun watch. That's kind of my final thoughts on it. Well then, John, where can they find you at on the internets?
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think
anything
anything on the YouTube front?
Oh, I mean, I'm cinching in, Brian, on the Dirty Harry video. It's in the computer.
It's in the computer. Together. Is it with Jobe?
It's yes, yeah. It's being pieced together. No, it's like Johnny Mnemonic. It's in the internet.
Well, I was gonna say, did you hire Jobe to be your assistant editor to get this thing finally fucking done?
You know what? No, actually, I just thought about just getting like Chat GPT or just AI to edit it for me.
That's Jobe.
Yeah.
Telling you right now, it's Jobe.
It's like they watch all my other YouTube videos, so it's like it's actually just in order of all the clips, but occasionally it just throws in a fart sound. It's like, this is your humor.
Awesome. I look forward to watching it next year.
Mid 2024.
Mid 2024.
Yeah.
There you go. You can find me at Brian Content on X, formerly Twitter. Be sure to follow us at Psycho Show on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. We are also on the TikToks for our Gen Z and millennial folk, for you guys. We're out there at Cinema Psycho Show. We are also on a Discord. We have our own Discord channel. If you want to take this conversation about VR visions of the future from 1982 that didn't quite pan out, come join our Discord channel. The link for it's in the description. You can also reach out to us on our website at cinemapsychoshow.com. I've been spending tons of time the past couple weeks going through back catalogs of our episodes and updating code. So please go to our website.
Everybody out there, I know that he can't hear you say it because it's already been recorded, but say thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. But because I'm trying to make sure that all 283 episodes of the podcast you can listen to on our website without seeing a broken link to a player that is no longer supported anymore. So yeah, go to our website, cinemapsychoshow.com. And in fact, if you want to subscribe or listen to us, we have a new link now that I'm going to be directing everyone to. Go to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow and follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we'll see you next time.
I was just thinking, the real horror of this movie is all the people that got fined by the homeowners association because their grass got too long.